Hey guys, so booklet 7, you might be wondering why we haven't done this previously, and it's because it's a bit of a funny, kind of like a wedgie booklet, because when we got you to think about your research processes in booklet 6 in that table, um, we didn't get you yet to start thinking about the order of them, and as part of your prep for your proposal, we've started getting you to think about, all right, I have to do background research, and then I have to do like preparing for the actual good research with experts and then contacting them, etc. So this is just a bit of I guess a talk through of as you're going through the proposal and you're writing up section 3, what is this actually going to look like for you? Okay, so um, the main thing is that even the best laid plans go awry. Okay, so you might set up a really nice plan, but it's not necessarily going to work exactly the way you want it. So, what we want you to do is to work backwards from the due dates. So, these are due dates that were given to you in booklet 1 at the very beginning of the project. Week 7 of term 2 is when you finish your folio. And so that is where page 9 and 10 come in. So week 7 is a bit of a big week because we want you to prepare for your outcome. We want you to collate all your knowledge, but you'll have so much stuff that you know that it'll actually be really easy to do. So that means that the weeks before that, so weeks 6, 5, and 4 of term 2, need to be really you engaging with your primary and secondary sources, okay? Which means that at the latest, you want to be doing your planning for those things in weeks 2 and 3. Now, one of the things that can hold you up is that primary sources take a long time to get back to you. So if you were not contacting your primary sources in about week 2 and 3, you won't be hearing back from them until about week 5 or 6. So that's just something to really take into account. So our job this term is to get you through this section where we're doing your planning evidence and we're preparing you for the proposal. So that's the first 3 pages. So last week we were working on your planning evidence. You've pretty much finished that off now. And then by the end of the term, you're going to have your proposals in, okay, with your planning pages. So what we need to do is have a think about what did you actually want to achieve. So when you go into booklet 6, which I don't have open at the moment, when you go into booklet 6, you will have your table, right? The one that you filled in with all different types of resources. Here it is. And you worked to ensure you had at least 10 sources across here. Your job in booklet 7 now is to have a think about what that's going to look like in terms of timing and how you're going to create that research. So, I've got some tips for you for managing your time, which is going to be particularly important. Oh my God. When you're working through this, I'm not going to read them all to you, but I mean, I would really strongly suggest that you commit to a really clear goal. Okay. So when you're doing this, you need to think about all of these parts that are going to be scheduled as well. You don't just do the interview, right? So in this list, doing the interview is here. All of this is what you do before the interview, and then this is what you do after the interview. So you can see why you're going to need a few weeks to get prepped. What you need to think about is how and when you do these things, all right? Secondary research is a bit easier. Like you have done your background research already. Oh, what? That doesn't match. That's meant to say survey research. What the hell? When we do a survey, it is a bit easier. What we need to work on is still the same prep work, but it's a bit easier because you don't have to reach out to specific